Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Cosmic Sin. Insert some pun about how this was totally a sin. Oh, this movie. And this is a science fiction film from Edward Drake, who was one of the writers on Breach, which Bruce Willis also starred in, which was a science fiction film from last year. Drake did not direct that film, but directs this one along with writing it. It's also starring Bruce Willis, who plays this notorious general who basically just drops giant bombs on people and is known for that, and also apparently also known for sleepwalking through everything. Because you could tell Bruce Willis doesn't really want to be here. There's no energy in his performance, there's no oomph to anything that he does in this film, and there's nothing particularly interesting that he does in the film. And it's sad watching things like this and just seeing Bruce Willis not really care. And then you have Frank Grillo, who I think, like Boss Level that just came out, with the right direction, I think can be a charismatic and interesting actor. He worked in the Captain America films, and not in this one. Honestly, it basically felt like he wasn't even there. There was no personality here. There was nothing. He was just a bland, fill-in character. None of the characters really in this film were interesting at all. There's one young woman who loves her motorcycle and wants to really go off and ride her motorcycle, and she's the one that's an engineer on these special bombs, and she's roped into going on this. Basically, there's contact of aliens, and they want to go out and preemptively destroy them, but they wind up on their front door with the zombifying people and using human beings as weapons against our own. And this film, everybody just feels like they're cookie cutter. The script doesn't really give anybody any interesting lines. The only the only lines I remember were because they were so poorly telegraphed that they were horrible one-liners that I'm just like, oh, didn't see that one coming a million miles away. And unfortunately, that happens quite a bit, and then everything else is just poorly schlocked together exposition or trying to be tough guy language. And this film, the action is not memorable at all. It's basically cameras flipping, flopping around a room, trying to capture people just shooting at each other. And there's nothing particularly interesting about it. And then you have the special effects that look worse than a sci-fi original film. This looks like Sharknado level bad CGI, except Sharknado is supposed to be campy and funny. I'm still not a fan of those films. But, at least they're supposed to be campy. This is supposed to be, extremely serious. This is an overly serious film that doesn't really capture any kind of spark or energy. And at 89 minutes, it's a chore to sit through. And it's just so boring. And the pacing is completely off because you have these, right off the bat, within, the first, minute of this film is just a rushed, just throwing at the screen a bunch of text exposition and quick shots of, historical things throughout what this history is. And then you spend 12 minutes setting things up, and then bam, action sequence, and then all the energy just gets sucked out of the film, and you're just plodding along for another 20 something minutes, not really accomplishing anything particularly interesting, except they're trying to set up this former love story of this one woman who's in charge, who used to be involved with Bruce Willis. And then you never really care about this relationship, and then they try to use it as a crux for emotional heft later in the film, and it doesn't really pay off. And there's moments that are horrifically bad in terms of the CGI and everything that just takes you completely out of the film, especially in the climax of the film. And you do have these aliens that look like mech versions of the creatures from The Village, and I'm just okay. And they do such a poor job of editing that you don't even get to really appreciate them, because they show up in action sequences that are so poorly put together that sometimes you can't even really tell what's going on. And you're just sitting there by the end of this film and just, what happened? why'd this happen? Why did we care? And what was this all about? And I sat there, I'm like, I feel like I didn't get anything out of this. And it seems like a lot of people are feeling the same way. Like, this is a 2.5 on IMDb. That's bad. It has a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's bad. So, I don't think Cosmic Sin's winning a whole lot of fans out there. But, if you are a fan of just basically anything science fiction and just want some mindless action, you know, Cosmic Sin's sitting on VOD right now, just waiting for you. But those are my thoughts on Cosmic Sin. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.